Hey there, Nick here. In this video, we're going to go over how to search for a string within a string using bash. So I've got this little demo script here that we're going to take a look at and run, but if all you care about is the answer, it really comes down to this one condition here, where this is the search string and this is the larger string that we're searching within. Notice here that this is wrapped in wildcard characters. It's also really important that this condition is on the right-hand side of the equals. It's also worth pointing out that we have to use double brackets here because this is not POSIX compliant. Notice here we are using bash, so you will need to use a bash compatible shell. It also works with bash 3.2 and above, which is quite nice. Now, searching for a substring is a very basic thing in any programming or scripting language, but you can solve some pretty interesting business use cases. So let's go over the use case and then run the script and see how it works. So in my case, I'm working at this one company where I'm responsible for deploying our applications, using Kubernetes, Dockerizing everything, setting up CI pipelines, working with developers, and all sorts of things like that. I've actually done a video in the past around 120 different SRE-like skills that I use there. But yeah, in this case, we deploy our application to a production cluster, and that's the only environment that we deploy to. But we have an upcoming penetration test in a couple of months. Basically, that's what PEN stands for here. And, this is where you typically hire a third-party company, and they go and, hit your website looking for different vulnerabilities, trying to exploit whatever they can do. And then they give you a report back with all these things. And then, if you have some critical or high or medium ones or whatever it happens to be, you can go and address them. For example, cross-site scripting vulnerabilities, maybe some timing attacks on a user login form. You can also have like escalated privileges where you accidentally get promoted to admin or, all sorts of different things that could exist in your application. But what's really important about this pen test is typically it goes on for a week or two. And now we want to be able to deploy our application to both a prod cluster as well as a pen cluster. And, all of our CI stuff is set up to be fully automated where you just merge an application feature branch into the main branch that kicks off things to deploy it to the production cluster. But now we wanted to also deploy it to a separate pen cluster and all that's set up. It's good to go. Nice. But I wanted to have things pretty configurable so that we can control whether or not we are deploying to just production or production plus pen or maybe just pen without having to make any CI code changes or any application changes or any infrastructure changes. So I figured, okay, well, this is pretty interesting. Maybe the release script that kicks off all of this, which is basically what this demo script is, but like super watered down, maybe we can just introduce one new environment variable called deployable envs, deployable environments there. And I can just take in a comma separated list of all the environments that you'll be deploying to when something gets merged into the main branch here. And, in this case, it's defaulting to pen, prod, but in our real setup, it's actually just defaulting to prod because, we're not deploying to the pen environment yet because we have to wait a couple of months. But in any case here, yeah, we're just using a substring here to take a look. So it's basically like, okay, well, you can imagine calling this script like this, where you just pass in the first argument to be whatever environment that's being deployed to. And in this case, like, yeah, okay, if we do a search here, env in this case is going to be prod. And if we take a look here at the deployable environment string, it defaults to pen, prod. So in this case, sure, prod is in pen, prod, so that gets yes. And if we do with no arguments, then in this case, it's also yes because, the environment defaults to prod, which is basically the same as before. If we run it again with just pen, then we can see like, yeah, of course, that is going to work as well because pen is in there. But if we do it with another environment like staging or something like that, then it's like, nope, not in this case because the env in this case is going to be staging and deployable envs is pen, prod. So in this case, no, that's not in there, so it's not going to work. So the idea here is, we can modify our pipelines once to include calling this like make release script for prod and pen. But that little make release script will just have this condition here. And, in the exit case or in the no case, then, it can just basically just exit out instead of running the rest of the script here. Because you can imagine down here, you can do other things like, update some Kubernetes configs with Argo CD, like whatever it needs to be here. That's super specific on what we're doing here. But yeah, that's the basic idea. We can short circuit out of the script real fast if it's not a deployable environment. And then when we're actually ready to lock in a specific version for the pen test, then all we have to do is just set this deployable envs just to be prod, or if it defaults to just prod, you can even remove it, and that's it. All we have to do is literally modify a CI pipeline variable and we're good to go. So yeah, just a super basic business use case there. So with that said, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer all of them. What are some interesting use cases that you've used Substring searches for? If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up because it really does help a lot. Thanks a lot for watching and I'll see you in the next video.